What is going on, everybody? It's the One here for the Mae Young Classic, episode 1 of round number 2. Of course, there will only be 2 episodes of round number 1, round number 2. This should be episode 5 overall, with, I would have to say, the best show so far, and by far the best women's match of the year overall for WWE happened in this show with the main event of Meiko Satamuro versus Mercedes Martinez. I knew this match was going to be a great match. I knew this match was going to be one of those hard-hitting affairs, and these two women put on one hell of a show for us tonight. It was definitely a match worth seeing, and something that if you're skeptical on the WWE Network or you're skeptical on women's wrestling, you want to see real women's wrestling, you want to see a real evolution, you watch what happened tonight in the Mae Young Classic with Toni Storm and hiroyo Satamura. You also had Lacy Lane versus taynara Conti and Kacy Catanzaro versus Rhea Ripley, and what was by far definitely a great match for them as well. All 4 matches were pretty good. We did, of course, I would say the weakest of the 4 would have been Lacy Lane versus taynara Conti. Is it Conti or Conchi? They kept saying both, so I couldn't tell you which one was which. So that was definitely what we had to say about that. It was great. This show tonight was definitely the absolute best show we have seen all year long, and definitely had the best match of the night, best match of the tournament, and most definitely the best women's match of the year for Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and the NXT takeovers or whatever. Meiko Satamura and Mercedes Martinez tore the house down. It was one hell of a match. And there was a reason it was the main event of this show. You want to sit there and say that the women's revolution is great on the main roster? Bullshit. Bullshit. What we saw tonight, that was real women's wrestling. That was just real wrestling. Take the women's name off. That was wrestling. There was even a chance of this is wrestling during the show, during the Meiko Satamura and Mercedes Martinez match. It was definitely worth the wait, and I can't wait to see what happens with Lacy Lane and Meiko Satamura, even though I don't think they could top. I don't think anyone's going to be able to top what happened tonight. That was definitely the match of the tournament, and I don't know. I'm pretty sure Satamura is going to make it to the entire tournament until we get to at least the semifinals, and I don't think whoever she faces going to able to top what they did tonight. I'm just saying it. We started the show off with Toni Storm versus hiroyo Matsumoto. Toni was was way over. Like they talk about how Lacy Lane has a great following here because she is from Florida, and she did get a good pop. But Toni Storm had the pop of the night for all 8 women who came out, who were the baby faces. She had the pop of the night. Just saying. They shake hands, the bell ring, and the second round is underway. Dueling chance for both women. Hiroyo did have many chances for her tonight. Colorado tie up, but a stalemate. They tie up again, and Toni Storm takes the charge. Slow start for these two. Chain grappling between these two for a good portion of the beginning of the match. They shake again because they've been in a stalemate, and Matsumoto immediately kicks Toni Storm in the gut and a chop to Storm's chest. Matsumoto with a stunner through the middle rope after she tried to drape her on the top rope first, but Toni Storm got out of that. Matsumoto with a stunner, Matsumoto with a missile drop kick for a 2 count, Storm with a forearm and a boot, then a suplex blocked by Matsumoto, who hit a suplex for a 2 count. Shot by Matsumoto lays out Toni Storm, and Matsumoto stomps on Storm. A Let's Go Toni hero chant. Even though Hiro Matsumoto tried to be the heel in this show, in this match, she was over as well. Like, they were great dueling chants for both of these women. Matsumoto stomps away on Storm, then a boot to the throat of Toni Storm, just shoving it into her throat. Snap jumping by Storm, hip attack in the corner, then a fisherman for a 2 count. Awesome. Like, they did that. If you watch some of the Super Showdowns, you get like that oi 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 chant for the Super Showdown. The crowd decided to bust that chant out for them. I don't know why. They trade some shots. Matsumoto with a strong slap. Storm with a forearm, couple of duck clotheslines. Matsumoto does hit Storm with a clothesline. Then rolls through for a 2 count. Matsumoto looks for a half crab. And she starts pulling back on Toni Storm's leg, adding to the damage. But Storm was able to get to the ropes. Double knees to Storm for a 2 count. Storm headbutts, then a German suplex for pin for a 2 count. She goes for another German suplex. Matsumoto with a block. With a rock drop for a 2 count as Storm gets her foot on the top on the rope because she did not grab the right leg, as Michael Cole wanted to point out. Matsumoto running forward for a 2 count. Matsumoto with a clothesline, then another one. Matsumoto goes for one more as the crowd calls for one more time, but Storm ducks, rolls through, jackknife cover for a 3 count, and Toni Storm was your winner, just like that. Definitely a pretty good match. It wasn't. I think these two had a better first round match overall, but yes, it was a pretty darn good match for them. Then we move on to everyone's favorite new little one, and Kacy Catanzaro versus Rhea Ripley. Rhea refuses to shake hands because she has no respect for anybody. She is what you would say for this tournament, the Shayna Baszler of the tournament. She does not give any fucks about anybody. She just wants to win, as she is told Michael Cole, I guess. And we have ourselves another David versus Goliath match. I guess they said that Rhea Gonzalez and Rhea Ripley are really good friends, so it definitely was a tough one for Kacy Catanzaro, who came out and showed that she is definitely going to be a star in NXT before she comes into the main roster and gets absolutely ruined and becomes pretty much a afterthought when she comes into the main roster. But that is neither here nor there. Kacy with the waist lock, huge Kacy chant from the crowd. The crowd was hot for Kacy in a non-sexual way, but you know what I mean. They were all for Kacy Catanzaro from the start of this match. They were definitely wanting to see her win this thing. Ripley catches Kacy, but Kacy gets out and tries a handstand Hurricane Rana, barely got any of it. You know that Hurricane Rana that Ricochet does to roll through in the handstand? She tried that on Rhea Ripley, but she did get it a little bit. Rhea Ripley then started to go through, but she didn't roll through as if she got hit with the Hurricane Rana. She just walked through. It just looked like that didn't go the way it was supposed to. Ripley rips Kacy into the corner. Again, Kacy tries a Hurricane Rana, gets tossed to the apron. Kacy with a kick to the gut of Ripley. Kacy then does, if you ever watch a gymnast on one of those balance beams or something, she had her hands down. She went on the rope, flipped up, did a twist around. I don't know what they actually call that, where they twist and got her legs onto Rhea Ripley and got a Hurricane Rana off on her. That kind of rocked Rhea Ripley. Kacy Catanzaro tries to go get a hot streak going, but Ripley catches her and drops her on the top rope, gut first for a 1 count. Ripley just throws Kacy into the corner and a boot to Kacy's face. Kacy rolls up Ripley for a 2 count. Ripley with a drop kick to Kacy for a 2 count. Ripley with that drop kick that she hit was absolutely beautiful. I didn't think that Rhea Ripley had that in her to hit a drop kick like that, especially on someone half her size, and it was just that she hit it picture perfect. Ripley just starts throwing Kacy around, and a drop kick to Kacy's face for a 1 count. A Rhea and Kacy chant starts coming from the crowd, so Rhea Ripley, even though she is the heel and doesn't give no fuck about anyone but herself, the crowd does actually reward her for putting on a hell of a match here and start chanting for her as well. Ripley with a vertical suplex. She did not have to put any effort into this vertical suplex. She just lifts Kacy Catanzaro up and does a 360 walk around the entire ring with Kacy up in the vertical suplex position like it was no effort. That's the size difference between these two. The fact that Kacy Catanzaro was up in that vertical suplex. I mean, you've seen Bobby Lashley do the vertical suplex to like a Kevin Owens or an Elias or somebody else, and he struggles to walk around with them. This one took no effort whatsoever. I don't even think Rhea Ripley broke a sweat when she did this one. Ripley with an inverted clover leaf. Kacy Catanzaro. She had the clover leaf on Kacy, but instead of having her sitting on her back, she actually had her front to like. She had her front to. She had Kacy's front to her front, and she just had her lifted up that Kacy's fingers were barely touching the bottom. Was barely touching the ring mat. She was trying to get away. She does eventually like do a Hurricane Rana type move to get out of that. And then something taken out of Rey Mysterio's playbook. She did a tilt-a-whirl around the world twice. The DDT. This thing was a thing of beauty. Like she was studying Rey Mysterio tapes because he would do that like around the world around this opponent DDT. Kacy did that. And both women were down. Crowd goes wild. Ripley does fall out of the ring. Kacy does a corkscrew over the top rope, laying out Ripley. I'm telling you what, from one match to the next, Kacy Catanzaro, improved immensely. It also helps the fact that Rhea Ripley can actually work, in my opinion, better than Mae Young Gonzalez, who really didn't feel like she could do anything. Kacy with a shoulder block, then a drop kick. She does the running clothesline into the corner that the Miz does, where he slides through the top and middle rope as he hits his opponent. Kacy botches, goes for a springboard. What is it? A springboard missile drop kick, but she botches it the first time. It looks like she really tweaked her ankle for a second. Looked like Ripley was going to go for it, but Kacy goes. Hits a kick to the gut. She goes for it again and hits a springboard missile drop kick, then a spinning splash for a 2 count. Ripley then catches Kacy, picks her up like she is just a rag doll or some little toy, hits the Riptide, which is her sit-out powerbomb for the 1, 2, 3. Rhea Ripley moves on. Now, unlike the beginning of the match where Kacy Catanzaro went for the shake the hand and Rhea Ripley just blew her off, she did shake her hand and then just threw it away, and just like swung her hand away. So Kacy Catanzaro did, maybe a little bit, but did earn the respect of Rhea Ripley after this match, and rightfully so. Kacy Catanzaro is definitely one that I'm looking forward to when she comes to NXT. I would love to see her go up against a Candice LeRae, a Bianca Belair, a Kairi Sane, a Lacey Evans, a Dakota Kai, a Tegan Nox whenever she gets back from being injured. I would love to see her go up against everybody and anybody and see how she could do with the women in NXT. And I can't wait till they actually do that because I'm pretty sure she is signed to WWE. I could be wrong, but it would be awesome to see her in NXT in the coming weeks and months. This was a good match. The next one, which was Lacey Lane versus Taynara Conti, whatever you want to say. But if you want to pick a weak match out of the 4, this one would be the weakest of the 4, simply because this one is the one match that you know that neither one of these two, if they were up against anybody else, would be making it out of this round. It's just that simple. Honestly, in my opinion, Lacey Lane was not ready to make it out of the first round if it wasn't for the fact that she went up against Vanessa Craven, who didn't have any business being in the Mae Young Classic, in my opinion. I don't think she would have made it out of the first round, and she would have been here. She would have been one of the ones who comes to the Mae Young Classic this year, gets to have a little bit of a showing in one match, and then is gone and comes back next year for next year's Mae Young Classic, if there is a Mae Young Classic next year. Which the way they're making it sound, there is going to be a Mae Young Classic next year. So it feels like if they would have drew a little bit better for the pairings, I think Lacey Lane would have been a one and done instead of making it to this round and possibly the next round. That's just my opinion. It's just a matter of the draw. And Taynara Conti, the same thing. I don't think she would have been here if she would have went up against like a Toni Storm or a Io Shirai or any of the other ones who have made it so far in the first round. It was just the circumstance of timing, or like of the draw of how they did this, in my opinion. Huge Lacy chant from the crowd because, again, this is Lacy Lane's home base. I still say Toni Storm got the biggest reaction of the night, plain and simple. She got the biggest. Pop of the night, whether you want to admit it or not. Lacy Lane, Kacy, Taynara Conti with a judo flip, then another flip by Conti. Lane does do a 619 sort of into a roll up for a 2 count. Conti clutches Lane, then yanks her Lane down by the hair. She screams something at her. I have no idea what she actually said. She tries to pull Lane up from under the ropes. Lane will not let go, so she kicks her left arm, her left arm. She tries that again. Lane still won't. And these weren't soft kicks. These were hard, rough kicks from Taynara Conti to Lacy Lane. You could actually hear the kick as she kicked her. Monkey flip by Taynara Conti for a 2 count, who looks frustrated because she can't put away Lacy Lane this early in the match. I don't know why you would be frustrated. It is the beginning of the match. Lane has Conti tied up for some forearms, then a flatliner for a 2 count. Conti goes for her finisher, which I don't remember what they actually called it. It's that judo side slam that she did to MJ Jenkins last time around. Not MJ Jenkins, whoever she faced last time. Conti goes for her finisher, but Lane turns it into a crucifix bomb for a 3 count. Lacy Lane is your winner. Not too much else to say about this match. It was a decent match. It wasn't a bad match. Just if you want to talk about being one of the worst, one of the weakest of the 4 matches, it would be Taynara Conti versus Lacy Lane. Now, Lacy Lane, sitting in the back, would know very quickly who her opponent was going to be going into the next round, because the winner of the main event, Mekio Satamuro versus Mercedes Martinez, was going to be facing Lacy Lane in the next round, the quarterfinals, which will be happening in 2 weeks. I'm just going to say right now, I knew from the start, when this match was made, when Mercedes Martinez beat Ashley Rain and Mekio Satamura beat Killer Kelly, that this was going to be a hard-hitting affair, and these two were going to beat the living piss out of each other. And they did not disappoint. Again, if this match is not in your top 10 for WWE this year, and it's kind of hard because you do have the matches in NXT TakeOver and maybe 1 or 2 matches for the main roster, this match is got to be in your top 10. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I don't want to hear anything else. This is, till we find out what happens in the next few rounds, this is, for now, the match of the year for all women's wrestling. And that's a lot of good matches in NXT. They shake and down, the bell rings, and we are underway. They lock up in Satamura with a wrist lock on Martinez. Martinez with the reverses that and gets into a chin lock. Martinez with the wrist lock. Satamura reverses that and with a takedown and an armbar of sorts on Martinez. Strong kicks, and when I say strong kicks, I'm surprised Mercedes Martinez was able to actually breathe after she took these kicks. Anytime, they call Mekio Satamura the Queen of Strong Style for a reason. Then an arm twist takedown by Satamura, then a double knees for a 2 count. Kick to Martinez's knees, then a side headlock, Satamura takedown. Satamura with a double underhook lock on Martinez, but Martinez flips her over onto her back, and I swear it looked like she was close to landing on her head. That would be Mekio Satamura. I thought it was going to be like Ashley Rain in the first round, where one botched move looked like it could have ended Ashley Rain's career, but thankfully nothing bad happened. Satamura with the double underhook lock to Martinez, but Martinez gets out of that and back body drops Satamura for a 2 count. Martinez with a headlock takedown, but Satamura uses her legs to get out of it, and she puts in what it looked like a code of silence without her pulling on her leg, Carmella's finisher, submission finisher. Martinez gets out of that and just slaps the taste out of Satamura's mouth, and you just see the face of "I'm going to kick your fucking ass" come over Mekio Satamura from this point forward. She picks up Satamura and it's just stiff arms. It's like a stiff shot, and then she slaps Satamura in the face and then on the chest, who fires one back at Martinez. Hard shots by both women, but Martinez with a nasty spine buster for a 2 count. Elbows to Satamura's head. Martinez puts a headlock submission onto Satamura, who fights out of it. Martinez hits the ground, gets some ground and pound in, uppercut by Martinez, then some forearms in the corner, then a chop to Satamuro. Boot caught by Satamuro, then a roundhouse kick lays out Martinez. Satamuro goes up top, but Martinez stops that and hits a twisting neckbreaker for a 2 count. I blinked for a second. I had to actually rewind it just to see this move. It was brutal looking. Satamuro blocks the Fisherman Buster into a armbar. Satamuro, I will tell you, her transition into the armbar is gonna be the quickest transition into the armbar I think I've ever seen. You know how we had to disarm her with Becky Lynch, and every time Becky goes to do the disarmer, it's just so slow. She grabs the woman's arm and just slowly takes her down on the mat most of the time to put her in the disarmer. Satamuro, it's like that. She just flips you, and you're in the armbar. And Martinez fights and fights and fights, and every time she tries to fight, Satamuro wrenches that arm back even more. The crowd, you could just hear the crowd go, oh! Like, it was just, every time it was like, oh! Like, you just had that reaction of, like, she was really hurting her. She does finally get to the bottom room thanks to her long legs. Satamuro picks her up and back kicks Martinez in a strong yes kick, a couple of strong kicks, which look like the yes kicks to Martinez. Satamuro goes up and hits a brutal-looking frog splash for a 2 count. Back suplex by Martinez. Both women are down. Martinez barely covers for a 2 count. Martinez fires up and hits the Fisherman Buster was blocked again. Satamuro with a kick and a flatliner. Satamuro kicks to the chest, then a stiff DDT. Her DDT, my word, Martinez had to be knocked for a loop because that DDT looked like she just, with authority, just drilled her on her head. Queen of Strong style for sure. By a handstand knee to then she does a handstand and lands one knee on her chest for a 2 count. This is awesome chant. Satamuro has Martinez up. Martinez gets out and blocks an overhead kick and a knee to the face. Fisherman Buster for a 2 count. And it's at that moment, as soon as Satamuro broke out of the Fisherman Buster, which is Mercedes Martinez's finisher, it's like, that's it. Martinez is not winning this match. This is just like when Ember Moon faced Asuka and hit the Eclipse, and Asuka kicked out of that. No way she was winning that match then. Same thing here. As soon as that finisher was hit, this isn't the WWE main roster and sometimes in NXT where a finisher gets hit and it's kicked out and it doesn't mean nothing. These finishers in this entire tournament mean something. So Martinez not being able to get the victory with the Fisherman Buster told you she was not winning this match. Martinez does kick the ribs and goes for a Mexican surfboard. She locks in the surfboard. We get a "This is Wrestling" chant. Martinez tries to add a dragon sleeper to the Mexican surfboard, but Mekio breaks out of that and hits a spinning kick followed by a step-up heel kick, which I don't know what they called it. She did a step-up heel kick onto the crown of Martinez. Martinez just collapsed. I was like, holy shit, that thing had to hurt. She hit her square on the top of her head, back of her neck area. She just collapsed. Mekio rolls her over slowly as hard as struggling as best as she can. 1, 2, 3. Mekio Satamuro moves on to face Lacy Lane, and Michael Cole said ever so lively, "Lacy Lane, good luck. Good luck, Lacy Lane, because you have yourself the final boss of Japanese women's wrestling in Mekio Satamuro in your next match." Will it be as hard-hitting as this match? No. Lacy Lane is going to go in there, she's going to take her whipping, and she's going to get beat 1, 2, 3. Plain and simple. Maybe she'll tap out to the armbar. I don't know. But I'm telling you right now, I can make that prediction a mile away. Mekio Satamuro is going to the semifinals. She is going to get past Lacy Lane. After the match, these two share a bunch of share some words that was not picked up on the mic, which is fine. They, share a special moment, and that was the end of round 2, episode 1, episode 5 of overall, in which I'd say match of the year candidate, one of the best matches all year, one of the best episodes. This was by far the best episode of the Mae Young Classic so far. We do have Io Shirai in the next one. Caitlyn will be in the next one. Hopefully she has a better match than her first one. And There's other ones too I can't think of on the top of my head, but we do have 4 more matches coming next week, and then that will lead to the quarterfinals next week, the week after, with the semifinals, of course, being 1 week after that. But that is going to be all for your Mae Young Classic Round 2, Episode 1, Episode 5 overall. We will be back tomorrow we'll be back tomorrow for preview and predictions on the Super Showdown, just mere hours before less than 24 hours before the Super Showdown goes live on the WWE Network. Saturday, I'll give you guys a review of the Super Showdown, and then, of course, Sunday, we will have a special Sunday edition of Unscripted. Until then, my name is The France. Find me on Twitter at The France. Find me on twitch.tv/TheFrance08. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like this video, and I will see you guys tomorrow for Super Showdown preview and predictions. Until then, my name is The France, and I'm getting out of here.